Thank you for joining us. We are here to discuss a very important topic today. We're talking about increasing access and increasing membership acceptance in Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. My name is Heather Schmidt, and I serve as the Director of Membership Services here at Phi Theta Kappa. And I'm just going to give a couple housekeeping tips and then turn it right over to our moderator and our panelists, who will do a brief self-introduction as well. For those of you who are a little new to Zoom or using a webinar format, we cannot hear you or see you. So please know, even if you have a microphone or a camera, we cannot hear or see anything that you're doing. And the reason we're telling you this is we hope you can see and hear us. And we want you to know that this is interactive, and you are definitely encouraged to send your questions through the Q&A box. If you hover over your taskbar at the bottom with your mouse, you should see a Q&A box as well as a chat box. So keep the hellos and the good vibes coming through the chat box, but we definitely want your content-related questions to appear in the Q&A box to make sure that it catches the attention of our panelists today. So without further ado, I think I'll turn it over to our moderator, Steve Schroeder, and then he can pass it off to our panelists who can also do a self-introduction.
Thank you. Thanks, Heather. Indeed, my name is Steve Schroeder. I am proud to be your chair for the upcoming academic year for the Association of Chapter Advisors. Most of you already know this, but just in case, to make sure that we're all on the same page, the Association of Chapter Advisors is the official organization that represents the advisors to headquarters. We are here to make sure that your concerns, your ideas are officially and as effectively articulated as possible. So we hope that we can use forums like this to gather ideas and gather input and share suggestions. And throughout the year, don't ever hesitate to come up to me or any of my fellow officers, and we would love to hear from you and your recommendations. Today, the focus is going to be on our Reach Rewards program. I'm very excited. We had a discussion similar to this at our Association of Chapter Advisors luncheon at the recent Honors Institute at Loyola University, which was a phenomenal experience had by all. And we decided that we wanted to share that with as many other advisors as possible, hence today's webinar. I was able to host that event, and the folks you also see participating in this webinar were the panelists as well, who I'm thrilled to introduce right now. I'll start with the couple sitting within the same box, and that is, first of all, Dr. Tomas Ramos. He serves as the regional coordinator for the Greater Northwest region of Phi Theta Kappa. He's also a proud co-advisor for the Chi Gamma chapter at Tacoma Community College. As you might imagine, his co-advisor for the Chi Gamma chapter is sitting right next to him, and that would be Teresa Ramos, who also serves as the Associate Regional Coordinator for the Greater Northwest region, and we're thrilled to have them both. In our other section, we have the talented, amazing Nisha. Nisha is the Alabama Associate Regional Coordinator, lead advisor for the Sigma Lambda chapter at Calhoun Community College's Decatur campus. Hi, everybody. This is weird. It's like they were sitting right next to me last time, and now time, space, borders are all over. One of the main reasons why we invited them to this webinar is that they, as individual chapters, did some amazing work with achieving Reach Rewards. And just to make sure we're on the same page, as you know, the Reach Rewards are our official way to recognize chapter increasing their membership over the years. What you need to do to get a reward is that we recognize those chapters who have achieved a membership acceptance rate of 15% or higher during the calendar year. So the Reach Rewards that were just given out were for the 2016 calendar year. In the first year of Reach Rewards, 422 chapters were designated with Reach Rewards earlier in the year. To do that, and depending on how well you did, you get free stoles, and headquarters gave out more than 4,700 free graduation stoles for their members as a result of this program, many of which went to the chapters for the Ramoses as well as for Nisha down at the bottom. I'm going to share with you some of the statistics from their chapters, and then we'll see what we can do to get some secrets of their success out there. So I'm going to begin with Tomas, as well as Teresa. With you, with Chi Gamma, you had a membership acceptance rate of 21.5%. 5%, well above the 15%. That means that of the invitations that were sent out, they got back a yes and enrollment of 21.5%. Nisha, equally as impressive, your chapter got 23 stalls because you got a 20.4% acceptance rate, which was amazing. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that the Chi Gamma chapter with the Ramoses got 28 free graduation stalls. So I'm going to start with the Ramoses, and we'll go over to Nisha. The basic question we're going to start with today is, what are the secrets of your success? And what would you recommend to other chapters to elevate them up to reach reward level? Let's start with the Ramoses. What secrets would you like to share with us?
Yes. Well, thank you for having us, everybody. It's a pleasure to speak with you today. We have done a few key items in our chapter to increase enrollment, and one of them has been to create a Canvas page. And so we send out emails to create engagement with the students that are already in the chapter. And through word of mouth, we are able to reach their classmates and teammates and everyone around on campus. We're actually no longer doing information sessions because everyone is online or everything is happening over the internet these days. So we do a couple of things. So one, we try to reach to the students that are already on the chapter to disseminate information about why they need to join and their experience in our chapter.
Good.
Another thing we do is, go ahead.
Oh, my apologies. Finish up your thought, because then I had a specific question for Teresa about Canvas.
Yes. So then another key item that we found out about is that when we send an email to the candidates or potential students to sign up, we send them an FYI email before the invitation comes in from headquarters. And that lets them know that they're about to receive this email, and so to look for it, because it's a verifiable information that they need to read carefully and take action upon, rather than just getting the email and the students not knowing or hearing about Phi Theta Kappa for the first time. So those are a couple of things that we do.
Excellent. Thank you. Teresa, I specifically wanted to ask you, whenever we hear phrases like Canvas or learning management systems, we tend to go, problems, we don't like them, they create lots of hassle. Tell us a little bit about both the blessings and the curses of using Canvas and maybe how it's worked for you.
So for us, the students are on the learning management system anyway. You know, that's where they're accessing their classes and their assignments. So it seemed like the logical place to go in order to reach them. We started this in winter quarter, and from then till now, we have had 450 students accept our invitation to join the class, the PTK class. So I think it's amazing opportunity to connect with them. And I was looking at some of the analytical data today, and I found that the week of June 12th through June 18th, we had 3,142 page visits. And I almost fell off my chair. It's amazing to me that, you know, at the time of year, that was the last week of the quarter for our students. So they're really busy at that time, but they still found something that was on the Canvas page that they wanted to look at. So there are things that I put up, like generally I have a discussion going all the time that is, what questions do you have about PTK? We've had some good engagement on that, where people don't know what we're doing or, you know, what things are important for them. I'm trying to add, I have one open right now, a discussion about, you know, do you want to have, should we have a workshop on scholarships for you? And there's been a lot of talk about that. So they're excited about that. And our decision will be whether to go ahead and have a live workshop and try to find a time that works for a lot of students, or to record something and just post it for them, because it seems to be that's where we're getting our engagement is there.
That is just fantastic. We're going to give now a chance to go to the other end of the country. We go from one corner to the other. Professor Nicholas, how you doing down there?
Oh, it's great down here. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, believe it or not, so it's that way in Chicago too, or at least in my area of Chicago. So tell us a little bit about your secrets and what's been going on down there.
Well, there's several things that I would like to just reinforce and tag team with the information that was just given. We had a very, very dedicated group that made up our officer team. And so we sent them a challenge of, look, guys, headquarters has asked for an increase in membership. We can get these really nice stoles. Let's see what we can do. So we turned them loose, and they devised several techniques that I'd like to go into more when we get to the follow-up question. But I'd also like to mention that we did very heavily recruit faculty and staff, and we use Blackboard for our current members. So we're able to get more information out to those that have already joined and use them to help us recruit. And I believe I heard Teresa say that she sends invitations to those asking if the new members would like to join the Blackboard. I'm a little more aggressive with that. I don't send the invitations. As soon as I get the confirmation from headquarters, I enroll them into the Blackboard course, so they're automatically in as soon as I receive that confirmation. That does give us the opportunity to be able to post announcements, send out invitations, and just make sure that our members, whether they're online or however they're engaging in their classes, they do get the information.
That sounds good. I've got another series of questions I'm going to move to specifically about chapter engagement. Before I do, I notice that there are some questions coming into the Q&A box, and I know that the chat section is getting some heavy use, so that's great. Heather, I just wanted to get a refresher and some clarity from you. We're going to do our opening comments, and then they should be submitting their questions to the Q&A box if they would like them addressed during this webinar. Am I correct?
That's correct, Steve, and I've actually been privately responding to a number of students, so keep your questions coming, and if it's something that I think the larger group will benefit from, I will definitely bring it to your attention, Steve.
Great. Appreciate that. Thanks, Heather. I want to talk about chapter involvement now. Again, you've got some equally impressive numbers when it comes to the actual induction of students. And I'm going to start with Nisha this time. Your chapter Sigma Lambda inducted 360 new members in 2016. Compare that to 251 in 2015. That's really, really impressive. And according to the statistics that I've been given, you've already inducted 200 members just in 2017 so far. So talk to me about how recruitment is emphasized by your chapter and how your chapter gets involved.
We have a dedicated vice president of membership recruitment and development. So one of his main jobs, his or her main jobs, is to devise strategies for recruitment. So we decided to take Awareness Week and to tackle it from several different avenues. We also send out emails prior to the invitations coming out from headquarters, because we know a lot of students, when they receive those emails, they don't know what ptk.org is. So we do prime them with an email. We also devised strategies where we would set up tables in some of the high enrollment buildings and just increase awareness through that. And we recruited faculty and staff to wear Accept Phi Theta Kappa t-shirts on a certain day of the week and gave them handouts for their students. But one of the biggest things that was very successful for us is playing on the fact that everyone likes a bargain. So we negotiated with headquarters for a $10 discount, and for all students that joined during that week of Awareness Week, we gave them a $10 discount off their local chapter dues. So that was really successful with us, and we were able to induct in 1 week the same number of students that the prior year we had inducted the entire month.
That's fantastic. I want to give Tomas the same opportunity to answer that, but before we do that, here are some statistics from the Chi Gamma chapter. 2016, they inducted 375 new members. Compare that to 2015 when it was 280 and 239 in 2014. That's a really impressive increase. So same question, Tomas. With your chapter, how do you get them involved and engaged in the recruitment process?
Yes, so we do a lot of different things. First of all, we like to be present as much as we can on campus, And by that I mean we have on the information boards or the electronic boards that are located throughout the campus, we have information about Phi Theta Kappa and whatever activity is coming up next. We also attend any of the college fairs or the club fairs or any kind of the meetings that are announced on campus that we can be present at. One of the things that I specifically do is that I know has been very successful for us is recruit our own faculty to promote our name with their students. And the way that we do that is, on an occasion, we like to set up sort of a thank you, either like a little breakfast, something that not a flat breakfast or anything like that, just an appreciation that can create goodwill with the faculty. We do the same with the advisors, and we do the same even with counselors. So we try to put our message out on campus as much as we can. One of the things we do when putting this message out is to keep the message very clear, very concise, very simple, and very small, so that rules of advertising tell you that the best way to reach the audience for them to be able to remember you is by keeping things simple. So we try to be in every place that we can throughout the year, and with a simple message, with our logo or the information where they can contact us, but we try to keep that simple. And last but not least, one of the things we do is get in touch with our president of the college, because that's our number one source of information dissemination across campus. One of the things that I do is I like to email her, and I always do just an FYI, we're working on this. So I don't write her to expect an answer or for her to be more involved than she already is, or for her to have something else to do, for just to keep her informed. And even for the board of trustees, we send out these messages so that everybody knows what we're doing, what we're working on, and for us to continue to be recognized. The name of the game is to keep a constant message out so that people know, and you become sort of a familiar name on campus. So that's basically what Tacoma Community College.
I really like that. And you did a beautiful job transitioning into one of the remaining topics that we have before we start delving into a little bit more personalized approach. Administration contact is really important. So Heather, just so you know, I'm going to go out of order a little bit because he brought up that really important point about networking with the presidents. I would like to know, obviously, we've just heard that Tomas's chapter keeps in close contact with the president, keeping them aware, keeping them informed. So let me go to Nisha first, and then I'm going to go back over to the Ramoses. I want you to talk about, specifically in terms of recruitment, what kind of connections do you make with administrators? How do you keep them informed? Do you give them roles to play within the process? What roles would they play in your recruitment? And we'll start with you first. Professor Nicholas.
Recruitment, that's a tough one when I'm thinking about administrators, because we've had a lot of turnover over the past couple of years. So we spend a lot of time sending emails, having conversations in the hallway, talking in the elevator, just making sure that those new administrators are aware of what our chapter is doing. A lot of times we have administrators come in and they really don't know much at all about Phi Theta Kappa. So I make sure that my officers, as well as myself, always have that elevator speech ready to be able to talk about what we're doing. So my role as advisor, of course, is to provide those opportunities for our students to grow as leaders, but I also want them to have the opportunity to interact with those administrators. We have our recruitment letter, of course, is signed by the college president, but I can't really say that many of the administrators at our college play a large role in recruitment, other than just allowing my chapter officers to go free will.
I absolutely agree with that, to go forth and do your work. I will turn to the Ramoses now. You gave us a wonderful segue into this. Any other advice you'd like to give us about connecting with your administrators?
I think we're pretty vocal about the chapter, and recently, the awards we won this year, so which is a great opportunity. It's not just the board there, but a lot of faculty and administration is at that meeting, and so we played it up about going to Catalyst. We had a student, our president, talking about it as well, so it was a great opportunity. We found out that one of our board of trustees is actually a Phi Theta Kappa alumni, so we've talked to him about going to Catalyst next year, and so trying to get more information out and just staying in the news. We're constantly promoting what we're doing with the club, and so I think that message gets to upper administration.
Good. And perhaps if either of you want to mention to this, do you see a link between increasing that awareness, the promotion of your chapter? Does that lead towards assisting you in further recruitment of members and helping you get towards reach rewards? I'll start with the Ramoses first, and then we'll go over to Professor Nicholas.
Yes, absolutely. With as much as we try to keep our, it's something that you just don't drop the guard with. We're constantly, continuously attending different events, and we try to create a display for what our chapter is like, that is easy for the students to just show up and put in the display, that looks professional, that looks it looks well kept, and they have a script, and we get them to know the chapter pretty well and what Phi Theta Kappa is all about, so that they can answer questions on the spot. In keeping this message constant, from day one, when the students arrive back to campus, and we don't drop the guard even on the summer. We keep on recruiting as much as we can all the time. So I would say that I would even say that I can only imagine that there are chapters out there whose resources may be more limited than other campuses. But I think that one resource that is not going to be limited for anybody is your commitment and involvement and desire to be creative and come up with your own solutions to your own challenges, your own ideas that work for you, because we can tell you about the ideas and the practices that work for us, and some might work and some might not. But what it will always work out is your determination to want to promote your chapter with your college, with your faculty, with administrators, and so that presence is felt on campus, and when people hear about Phi Theta Kappa, they're not hearing it for the first time, and it's no longer something that they're just finding out.
Dr. Thomas, can I cut in and ask a quick question? I'm sorry to cut you off, Steve.
Oh.
I'm just noticing a trend. The breakfast comment, the faculty breakfast, the appreciation that you mentioned, has really set off the alarms here in Phi Theta Kappa. So we have some people asking, who is paying for this event? Are you providing food? Can you talk a little bit more about what this looks like?
Yes, absolutely. So one thing we do is our students proposed it at our member meeting. So we use money from our funding, and we're not talking about a full breakfast. In one occasion, for example, we just went around with one of the local vendors, and with one of those boxes with coffee, and just pour coffee in faculty's offices when we went through it in the morning. And so you basically just tell them, hey, would you like a cup of coffee? We're from Phi Theta Kappa. But then even on the cup, we put a sticker that said Phi Theta Kappa and our contact information. So these aren't things that that are going to take a long time, or that you might potentially get in trouble for, because to serve food you have to have a license and you have to go through a lot of clearances. So then we just do this as tokens of appreciation, and it's just as simple as providing drinks. But we do get the funding from our own fundraisers that we do.
It sounds like a really good investment, if you ask me. Turn back to Nisha. Any final words or thoughts about administrators and their role in promoting recruiting and reach rewards?
I think just having a good relationship with your administrators is going to pay off in numerous ways. There's so many times that we have to have permissions and we have to be able to do the things as advisors to provide opportunities for our chapters. So I think anything that promotes a good relationship with those administrators is going to pay off, whether in recruiting or in just helping with the day-to-day management of the chapter.
Sounds good. All right. One last area of questions before perhaps we open it up for a little more interaction with our guests. And I'm really excited. We've got 80 participants now. This is really cool. I want to ask you all, help me dispel the myth. Yeah, we totally take the summers off and we do nothing during the summer, right? Right. All right. Both of you, according to the statistics that I were given from Phi Theta Kappa headquarters, you've already uploaded and invited about 700 eligible students just during the summer. So let me start with, I'll start with Nisha this time, and then we'll go over to the Ramoses. Talk to me about that, Professor Nicholas. Why did you choose to extend memberships over the summer and not just during the traditional academic year?
My chapter, as far as I know, has always recruited during the summer. When I came in as an advisor, we recruited during the summer. When I came in as a student several years ago, we recruited during the summer. I think a lot of our success during the summer has to do with the carryover from the hard work that we do in the spring and the fall semesters. So we don't really have an awareness week or specific activities. I've just charged my new officer team with trying to find some. But one thing I did do today was I sent an email to 621 eligible students from my Calhoun email, not from ptk.org, because I know a lot of times if students have not had an email from PTK before, it may end up in their spam folder, their clutter folder. So I wanted them to get something with the college email address saying, hey guys, these opportunities are out there. So I think just the more times you can reach out and touch them and make them realize this is a great opportunity, the more opportunity you are providing for them and the better chances to increase those numbers.
Excellent. So we'll go back over now to Tomas and Teresa. Any thoughts about how you use the summer as an effective recruiting tool?
So for us at TCC, we just had graduation this past Saturday, so summer starts in another week. But in order to kind of capture people, sent an email out to about 1,000 students who hadn't accepted membership that still had an opportunity to. And I let them know that, you know, time's running out. If they were graduating, that this was their opportunity to be a part of PTK and have that as something to be recognized for. And so between June 7th and this weekend, we had 38 new members take advantage of membership. So I thought that was a great kind of like, oh, let's try to get these at the last minute. And so we will be doing something similar in the summer when summer quarter starts for us. And Tomas had talked about the letter that goes out to those that are invited by our administrator at TCC. And we're working on a YouTube video that will be an opportunity for them to, isn't doing information sessions anymore. And really, we weren't getting good attendance at those. So we decided to create a video that will go out to all the students. So if they're not sure, a lot of students get that invitation. They're like, I don't even know if this is a legit organization. They will get that email before they get their invitation from headquarters, and they will know what PTK is and what the benefits and advantages will be for them.
And if I could add to that, you know, one of the things that I've seen that works really well is, and I think this might be common sense, but I'll say it anyway. I think that personalizing your message that you're sending out to your students can go a very long way. And not only that, but also having a cause that you're working for with your students in your chapter, then react or be more accepting if there is value in that in the information that we give out when we put in a sense of purpose. And what I mean by that is that when I was doing them, I always talk about how I did not have an opportunity to be a member of an honor society, and I wish that I would. And I also talk about some of the projects that our students put together, such as creating scholarships even from our own chapter to pay for membership for new students. And so then the students tend to be far more accepting of what you're proposing and signing up than otherwise. So those are some of the things we do. And of course, we do that not only through the summer, but the other quarters as well. It's just summer. It's just a time, like you were saying in the beginning. Do we just not do anything? It shouldn't have to be that way. We can just keep up the pace, and it will help us with the achieving the rewards program, which we got the stalls for free, basically. So why not?
I think the majority of our students are taking classes during the summer. I don't know about other campuses, but for us at TCC, most of our PTK students are enrolled in summer. So why step away?
Good. Hey, tell you what, I want to pause things here really quick because, as they say back in the 20th century, evidently the phone lines are burning up. Heather, I know, has a bunch of questions and some comments that she wants to share that's been gathered thus far. So, Heather, let me turn things over to you and let you direct the questions.
Thank you, Steve. I definitely wanted to bring this to the attention of our advisors and regional coordinators rather than try to float the answers myself here. Because these are directed toward you all as the experts with us today. So I guess if you just want to raise your hand if you feel like taking this question or if it applies to how you operate. The first question, which is a very good one, and thank you for your patience to the anonymous person who is asking, do you recommend doing orientations so that incoming fellow Phi Theta Kappans can know how much of a true honor it is to be part of the organization? So anyone want to speak to orientations, either Nisha or the Ramoses? I see you both raising your hand. Nisha, you want to go ahead and talk first?
I have found in our experience that they're not very well attended. Unfortunately, at community colleges, most students tend to leave as soon as class is over. So it's been really difficult for us to be successful with an orientation type class.
Okay, we have some more input, the Ramoses, and then Steve.
Yes, one of the things that we're planning to do with this YouTube video that we spoke about that will be included with the invitation, it will be sort of a frequently asked questions for potential students. We want to include one of our own students to give their take on what it means for them to be a member of Phi Theta Kappa. And one of the things that I guess, speaking from being a communications major, you gotta keep this simple. The message has gotta be quick, or people are gonna tune out. So, but we do like the personal testimony that our students bring to the table. I used to have my officers come to the information sessions. It's just that the medium has switched over to online, so we will continue to do that, but online.
I think the challenge with having an orientation is timing. A large number of students, unless you have that in your campus, that there's a built-in time. I know some campus will set aside a time for meetings, and if you have that, that's great. It hasn't worked for us, so the online is going to be a better option.
Really quick for me, we kind of go with the flow. We have what we call our student life fair, where clubs and organizations set up information tables, and there's, balloon artists and everything. It's a very circus-like atmosphere here. And we find that the meeting the meeting following that student life fair, where people come and find out about Phi Theta Kappa, dramatically, if not exponentially, increases. And so we always use that meeting as a what is Phi Theta Kappa orientation like meeting. And so we tend to have good luck with that. So we won't necessarily schedule an orientation meeting. We know we're probably going to get a lot of new people at this meeting, and we better be ready to have at least a crash course in the basics going.
Very good. Thank you all so much for that very diverse input, and hearing from different size campuses and different locations is definitely helpful. We have a couple more kind of related questions that I'll throw out there for all of you. One is related to Canvas, so this might be best for the Ramises because I think they're the only ones on the panel using Canvas. They wanted to know, does anyone have recommendations as to what type of content catches the most attention and positive feedback on Canvas?
So we always post the agenda and the minutes from all the meetings the students have and the officers have to keep everybody updated. Those seem to get some good response, but just I have set up in Canvas, you have different tabs, and one of them is assignments. So I put all the scholarships with the deadlines in the assignments. So students get an alert when an assignment is coming due, so they'll know that scholarship is coming due soon. That's been really helpful for them as well. But just, I like to, anytime we're having an event, we put it out there as an announcement, and students know when we're doing fundraising. When we did our induction ceremony, whole invite and everything was through Canvas. And so we're reaching the students where they are. And, you know, every deadline that comes up pops up for them that says this is coming due soon. So I find that to be, you know, a great way to get to them and get them interested.
Thank you, Teresa and Tomas, for talking to us about Canvas. It is kind of a new thing. I know a lot of campuses are in the process of switching over to Canvas. So hopefully this gets everyone kind of on the front end of this discussion and loaded up with some ideas. But that's a great point, meeting students where they are. If they're used to that format, if they really have a routine of going in and checking things, I think that there's a lot of merit in trying to mimic how the students actually get information from your institution in terms of how your chapter is also promoting Phi Theta Kappa information. And I also have some questions about recruitment, so let me switch over and
Heather, really quick.
Oh,
I think Nisha also had, I'm going to go down to Nisha, down there. I think she had a quick comment concerning at least something related to that Canvas and the type of material that works.
Yes, I just wanted to follow up. We don't use Canvas, but we use Blackboard instead. So anytime we post an announcement, we automatically go ahead and send that as an email as well. That way students are getting it even if they don't log into their Blackboard Phi Theta Kappa course.
okay, awesome point. Thank you so much for that. And actually this relates quite a bit to what you just said, Nisha, so you might be the one to answer this question as well. Lupita Ramirez is asking us, does anyone do an actual mail out for those students who do not read email?
We do not. We send out approximately 1,100 to 1,200 invitations in the fall and spring semester. So that would take quite a bit of our budget to send something out. Our students are required to use their campus email for all communication. So we do try to use that as our biggest tool.
We don't send letters either.
No, we're not sending letters anymore, and that's kind of when that's kind of why I was saying at one point in time that we still try to put posters on the bulletin boards, and we do the electronic readers that are all through the campus, and so we do all kinds of information that is posted on campus, and attending the fairs, the club fairs, the college transfer fairs. That's where students are at, and so no, we don't send out anything on the mail anymore.
There's another tool that I started using in my work at TCC that I haven't used yet with Phi Theta Kappa, but it's called remind.com. Has anyone used that? And I'm not sure how that will work, but you can send a text message or an email to a whole list of students and just upload the file. So that may be another tool we're going to use. It's free, and so why not try it?
Thank you, Teresa, and I appreciate that. You have a very lovely family there. It's nice to see, nice to see everyone. But yes, I have heard about Remind, and we might have students on here or advisors who are familiar with that. I am not personally familiar with that either, but I think any opportunity, especially through text message, I think that it would be behoove you to look into that and research that, or at least consider it. We also have some questions about what Nisha referred to earlier, the $10 discount that your chapter offered during Awareness Week. And I did want to definitely point out that $10 came off of the local chapter fee, and it was run as a promotion for that 1 week period. The question from Penny, which is a great one. Nisha, did you ever hear from members getting upset about the fact that they paid full price when others may have been given a $10 discount?
I have not heard anyone complain about it. We try to do it early in the semester so that everyone has that opportunity. We didn't wait. The first time we did it, Awareness Week through headquarters was actually a few weeks after we had already done our Awareness Week. So we do it as early as we can to give the most opportunity, but then sometimes we'll follow that up with some other little giveaway, maybe a gift card or something, and put their name into a random drawing. But so far, so good. We've not had anyone complain.
Thank you for that feedback. That's something only you would know as someone who's offering that opportunity, so I definitely appreciate it. Let's see, we have a couple more things coming in here. Let me take a quick peek at the time. We're good. We have a student that's very interested, or I should say a viewer, I'm not sure if it's a student, someone who is interested in going into classrooms and talking to prospective members. And they are wanting to know, is this effective? And do you see a way that this could work for them? Has anyone tried this on our panel?
I have. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We actually started back several years ago going into orientation classes, and it was effective in one respect and not so effective in another. Of course, when you go into an orientation class, you're typically getting students that are in their first semester at the college. So it helps to increase their awareness of Phi Theta Kappa, but of course they're not yet eligible in most cases to join. So it does pay future dividends. As far as going into regular classes, we've talked about that several times. And it really just depends on the faculty that you're working with, because a lot of people guard those precious minutes that they have in class so closely, while others in perhaps orientation or classes such as that tend to be a little more willing to let you in and have some of their time.
Did anyone else want to add to that?
Something that our students have asked if they can do that, and if they can go around to all the classes, and our officers have wanted to do that, and I've told them that that's a really ambitious thing to do, to go to every class on campus, that probably starting with their own classes, if the instructor knows them and they ask, can I have 3 minutes at the beginning of class to just talk to students about Phi Theta Kappa? So it's something that we'll be trying in the fall quarter. We'll see how that goes, but I think they're excited Kappa with other students and try to get more involvement. So it's good to see.
All right. Let me go ahead and throw in my 2 cents here. We're very fortunate here at College U DuPage, where we have a very good relationship with our honors program. And I mean this in the truest, most positive sense. Good fences make good neighbors. And so we both know our unique roles on campus. As a result, as long as we get permission in advance, our honors program teachers are thrilled to have our officers and active members come in, do a quick elevator speech and the like. And I have found that then people, whether they're active members or chapter officers, doing the same in their own personal classes work. Very ambitious to get it in every class on campus. But once again, even though we have growing technology, I think it's that as personal connection as much as you can make. So by actually talking to a classmate that you see almost every day is one of the best ways to at least approach that classroom form of recruitment.
Great points. Thank you, Steve. That's very helpful to hear as well, and good advice. Definitely being friendly neighbors. there is a lot of competition on campuses, if you want to look at it that way, for the time and attention of these top students. And so we know that the decision to invest in Phi Theta Kappa is a very big decision that may be a choice that they make in doing that exclusively instead of other things. So we definitely all really value this feedback and information that you're providing, so we can make sure students are really thinking hard about this invitation. And also we have a question about recruitment that is a little different from this idea of the personalized approach in the classroom. We have someone asking about how to recruit when you have 4 separate campuses tied to one institution. They're having events on all the campuses, but they're asking about how to do a better job of coordinating recruitment efforts on all of these campuses. Does anyone have any advice for this person?
Looks like Nisha's in for some advice.
We have 3 campuses, 3 primary campuses, and we have 1 chapter and 1 officer team. So our officers are responsible for all of our campuses, all of our recruitment, and all of our activities. We alternate our weekly meetings between the 2 main campuses, and we will periodically hold events on the smaller arts campus in downtown. So by keeping that 1 officer team, 1 chapter feel, we make no differences between any of our different campuses.
Thank you so much, Nisha. I appreciate your multi-campus perspective. I know it's very difficult sometimes to think about all of the organization that has to occur to make sure all the students are getting a really great positive experience no matter which campus they're attending. So it's definitely important for access purposes as well. So I do have another question about Blackboard and Canvas. So I know I'm bouncing back from topic to topic, but these questions are coming in and I'm trying to make sure we stay on top of them before the hour runs out. We do have a question from Hope, who is asking, do you all wait until the student accepts membership to add them to Blackboard or Canvas, or do you just add them regardless as soon as you find out they're eligible for membership?
I'll wait until I get.
For us, we go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Teresa.
So we wait until they accept membership. I had thought about creating a new class for those who hadn't accepted yet, but then the logistics of moving them from one class to the other, you would send a totally different message to those that hadn't accepted, and that we may get there eventually, but right now we've only been doing this for 6 months and that's working. I think we're going to try other ways to engage those who haven't accepted membership yet.
Nisha, did you want to add in about Blackboard?
No, I was just going to say I enroll them after they accept as well. Unfortunately, we know we're not going to get everyone, and just the logistics of adding and removing students from that Blackboard shell every semester, I think that would be a full-time job. So no, we don't enroll them until they join.
Thank you very much for that. And I think I only have one or two more questions. Well, one more question for you all. The other one I'll answer privately. Steve, when you're talking about the clubs and organization fair, do you feel it is necessary to have food and drink to get people to go to the fair?
Food and drink, no. Snacks? Yeah, I mean, it pulls them into the table. One rule I always make, because you're going to have people that come by will grab a handful of Skittles and run. And so we usually keep the snacks on the far side of the table, and we say, we'd love to give you a Snickers if you ask us a question about Phi Theta Kappa. And so, yeah, we'll bait them a little bit. We're lucky that we have a very active Office of Student Life on campus. They are fantastic. And so they will they have their own popcorn cart. I love this. And so you've got the popcorn cart out there. Frequently there will be coffee and other accoutrement that happens. But then the other tables all have their own form of little snackies that you can do. Of course, all hygienically wrapped and everything's whatever. But yeah, it works. Let's just be honest, it works. But I wouldn't just put it at the front of the table so they can grab and run, keep control of it and say, you have a question? Then I'll give you the treat.
Great idea. Make them do a little window shopping and get close enough to start a conversation. I think that's a great idea. We do have a couple more questions as Steve was talking about food and making all of us hungry. We had a question about Canvas come in. Do you all use Canvas on a year-round basis or every new semester? Charles is very interested in introducing Canvas, or at least using this for Phi Theta Kappa purposes. So does your Canvas course last year-round or by semester?
It does.
Let's go to Teresa.
It does last year-round. I'd have to talk to our IT person who created the course, but I know it's not closing out at the end of the quarter. So we have the same students and keep adding every week. I send an updated list of new students who have joined so that we can keep that constant. So I think it's continual. If he wants to, if he wants me to get back to me about that, will you have contact information that they can get? I can check that with our IT person and find out how they have it set up.
Absolutely. I will be sure to put your email address in the chat box, Teresa, so that they can talk to you one-on-one.
Good. And if I could interject, Heather, I think all of us have our contact information, or at least emails, on the Phi Theta Kappa website, since we're all either regional coordinators or ACA officers. So just go to the appropriate contact page and you'll be able to get a hold of any of us fairly easily.
Good point, Steve. Thank you for that. I'll go ahead and put the hyperlinks to the regional coordinator page, which will cover Nisha as well as Tomas and Teresa, and then I'll also link to the ACA page, which will provide Steve Schroeder's contact information. They're all part of our leadership team within Phi Theta Kappa, so you can find them all in a very easy place on the internet here. So I'll make sure to get those links in the chat box if anyone wants to turn their attention to that. And I will go ahead and float the last question that I see here until we have some more come in while I'm finding those email addresses to put in the chat box. The question is, how can we get faculty and staff to understand and support the benefits of Phi Theta Kappa? Students really value faculty members' opinions, so we want to find a way to help them advise students to join Phi Theta Kappa. Anyone have any advice?
Right away. Personal testimonies. We have some great stories of students who have gone on to academic and professional success, and they credit the opportunities financially and experientially that Phi Theta Kappa gave. We all have stories like that within our chapters, and so I really think that the more we can personalize that for our faculty and show them empirical examples of how their students can then go on to do great things through support of Phi Theta Kappa, that's where I think you get the buy-on. I know Nisha looks really enthusiastic to answer this as well, so I'll shift things over to her.
I was chapter president at the chapter I am now the advisor for. So I think, just as you said, Steve, the stories, and when you can share that with your faculty. I've had numerous opportunities at professional development to share my story with our faculty and staff, and also when our students get the scholarships, whether it's the All-State Scholarship, the Coca-Cola, or any of the transfer scholarships, we try to get that word out as much as possible so that the faculty and staff do see that the $80 or whatever your students are paying to join has such dividends in just the scholarship dollars, not to mention all the other opportunities. So we just try to make sure that they're aware what it means to be a part of Phi Theta Kappa.
Thank you so much for your perspective on that. And I don't know if the Ramoses have anything to add on that topic. I will say from my standpoint, I always try to find, social media. We have a lot of presidents on Twitter, for example. So I always try to make sure that if I see a story in the news, I use Google Alerts, and Google Alerts tells me anytime Phi Theta Kappa is in the news. I try to repost and share that as much as I can with the network of Phi Theta Kappans that I have on Facebook and Twitter, and really try to catch the attention with some of our amazing news stories that we capture in our blog called The Reach, and really try to spread the word through social media as well. So just my 2 cents there before I let Dr. and Dr. Ramos chime in.
Yes, I find myself speaking on campus a lot of the time for different functions that I get invited attend, and I try to, a lot of times it's easy to talk about ourselves because a lot of times that's kind of our own perspective, and I have to remind myself that it's about the students, and so I try to show them through examples of what I have seen, students that have succeeded and how they have benefited and where they were at, one time and where they're at now. And the way that I personalize it from my perspective is that because I never was a Phi Theta Kappa student, I tell them how they should take this opportunity. But besides all of that, just because I'm on campus, I get an opportunity to keep the word out there with the faculty, with administrators. Because I work very closely with all kinds of organizations, since we volunteer a lot on campus. Then that's a very good way to get the word out, and for people to know who you are, what you're working on. So Heather, back to you.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I do have one more question that popped up about Canvas. Canvas is also a very hot topic here. Can you please tell us, do your officers help with keeping your Canvas updated, or is it restricted to just your advising team?
I have the students are, I have our VP of PR and our president are on as TAs for the Canvas class. So yeah, they stay up on it too and help me get stuff disseminated. And if I have a discussion going, help keep that discussion going, right? Asking questions that somebody else might not ask. So I rely on them a lot to keep things moving.
Very good. Well, I think all of our questions are caught up amazingly, and it's 3:59, and I don't want to cut off the conversation. If anyone has any additional comments or questions, I think now is a great time to go ahead and light up the chat box or the Q&A box real quick. Otherwise, Steve, I'll turn it over to you. I don't know if you want to have any closing remarks or encourage your panelists to do that.
Yes, I'll do it as the clock is chiming 4 o'clock. It was a lovely gift from Phi Theta Kappa, by the way. It's very nice. Yes, the one thing I just wanted to make sure, folks, is start planning now for hashtag the party of the century. Phi Theta Kappa Catalyst Convention in 2018 is going to be amazing. Mark the calendars, April 19th through 21st in Kansas City, Missouri. Evidently, registration materials will be out very soon, as well as additional hotel information. There's going to be an amazing lineup of speeches, but I think most importantly is if you want more experiences like what we just had today, the educational forums, many of which will be focused on programs like the Reach Rewards program, will be plentiful at the convention and can provide you with not just great information, but great networking and great partnerships. So I really hope to see you all in Kansas City in April.
Thank you, Steve, Nisha, and
we're coming, even if you have to walk.
Go ahead if you guys want to say any closing words.
I'm just really
we're coming. Catalyst. Go ahead.
Give advisors the opportunity to talk and off we go, right? No, I am just very thankful to have the opportunity to share the experiences, and very thankful that I have a chapter that is so dedicated to sharing Phi Theta Kappa with our students and to be a part of this. So thank you again for the opportunity, and to Tomas and Teresa, thank you as well. And Steve, for your moderation.
Thank
you for the invite.
Go right ahead, Dr. Ramos. And I do want to say we have someone that's giving you all kudos about the scholarships on Blackboard or on Canvas, and they're talking about how so few students actually bother to put in their application, and this person is looking for ways to try to get people to apply for scholarships. So they're very excited about that idea. So go ahead.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity to share what's working for us, and also to have the opportunity to talk about and learn from others. Steve, Nacia, thank you so much for letting us be a part of the panel. Ditto.
And this is why I love Phi Theta Kappa. The sharing of ideas, the collegiality, I think you got a little microcosm here about why at least the five of us think it's so special. So thank you for letting me play along. I really appreciate it. Back to you, Heather.
Thank you, and we don't have any more questions. So with that, I will go ahead and probably answer the number one question, which was, how do I get a hold of this recording? And to answer that question, if you registered for today, which you had to do to be in the room here with our webinar, you will receive an email from us whether or not you were able to attend, and we will share the link with everyone who registered for the webinar. Then we will also post the link. This usually takes a little bit of a delay, but we will post it. And we always post our recordings to ptk.org/webinars with an S on the end, webinars. And so if you want more information on Reach Rewards, you could go to ptk.org/reach, and you will find all the details on how the program works, as well as suggestions for resources and ideas to help you achieve the 15% or better membership acceptance rate. Otherwise, I do have all of our contact information in the chat box if you want to contact us via email. And we have one more idea here. What can be some examples of valued, memorable, and great? Oh, for service events. We have someone asking about service events. They want examples for when their officers lead members to really take in the opportunity that service should be fun through Phi Theta Kappa, and to also do it on their own time. Miguel, I think service is a very important part of what we do at Phi Theta Kappa. It's one of our 4 hallmarks. And so we definitely want you to engage in service projects with your chapter. And I would suggest maybe using College Project as a potential launching pad for some of these service projects, which would require you to meet with your administrators as a chapter to come up with a really meaningful project that could help your campus community. So that would be my best advice with starting out a service project. Look into College Project, which you can find more about on our website as well. Okay, thanks everyone so much for your time and attention. And if we have any other closing remarks from our panelists, go right ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to wave and say goodbye and send this recording out to everyone just as soon as I can.
Heather, thank you for taking care and coordinating all of this.
Of course, no problem. We have people asking for transcripts. If you want to email me at heather.schmidt@ptk.org, I can most definitely share the chat transcript. I'm not sure the Q&A transcript is recorded through this software.
Have a good summer, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for our panelists. We appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.